Hey YouTube land, Tycanders there doing another action figure review, and today we're doing the last of the six figures from Defenders of the Earth. Well, the last figure so far. I'm not sure if there's going to be other variants or any stuff. And this is the last figure from Wave 2 of the Defenders of the Earth figures, which is a Neca line, but it is done as a homage to the original Galoob toy line. So if I get him there, we'll have a quick look at his box, and we'll have a quick look at him as well. So this is Lothar. I'm just going to try and get him to stand properly. He's a bit top heavy. So this is Lothar, the strongest man on Earth. He comes with grappling hook, rope, large laser blaster, and blast effects. And if I flip around to the back of the box, so it has the write-up of Lothar. It has an image of the figure. It has an image of all the figures in the wave except for Garrix for some reason, which is weird because if I bring in Garrix's box, it shows all six, including Garrix, but for some reason both Mandrakes and Mandrakes and Lothars don't show Garrix in the wave for some reason, even though he was released as part of Wave 2. So basically, the bio for this guy is Lothar, the strongest man on Earth. His strength is a legend. His skill conquers all. One with his powers, he will never fall. Lothar, and that is a direct quote from the opening line from the animated from this show's credits. Lothar is Mandrake's special assistant. He is also relied upon by the whole Defender team for his brilliant military genius, his speciality, plot strategy, and psychological warfare. This heavyweight champ is usually calm and cool until someone crosses his path. Then watch out, because Lothar's fists can drive railroad spikes, and the evil world shudders. And then it says collect all the heroes and villains. So if I move the box aside, we'll go through his accessories. So he does actually come with quite a few accessories. In fact, one of which is in his hands. If I just get it out without damaging it. And he actually has a removable knife as well, and a pistol. So we'll go through his accessories first, and then we'll go through what he has. So he has this really cool grappling hook. It looks similar to the one that came with what's his name, with Nathan Drake, but it's actually different. Originally, when I saw the promo images, I thought they were reusing the same one, but it's actually different. The pittons, I think they're called pittons, for it actually move, and then it actually extends as well, which is quite interesting. It doesn't seem to have a storage option, even though it has kind of things on the side here, which I'm not sure if I just get into somewhat stand, if you will. The ankles on mine are a little on the loose side, especially his right leg. His left leg is very loose. His right leg is actually quite tight, so it does give him a little bit of issue. But if I just bring this up to the camera, I'm not sure if you can see this in this light, but there's actually kind of indents here on either side. But I think what that is for the actual grappling, or these bits. There's two. There doesn't seem to be a third corresponding one, or is there? Maybe I'm just looking at it wrong. Actually, I think that's what this is for. There's teeth on the side of these things, and it's for them to hook into. You can kind of wrap it around, because the color of the rope is the same color as the rope that's sculpted onto them. So you can kind of wrap it around them and have it kind of hanging down. It's up to yourself which way you want to have them holding it or displaying it. It doesn't seem to attach onto the figure anymore, but it is what it is. He does have this tiny little bowie knife. Not sure if it's even a bowie knife. It's tiny little knife anyway. He can hold it in his grip hand. In the like normal grip hand, he does have a trigger finger hand. He does come with 2 alternate hands, but the only thing with the alternate hands is they are punching fists. He doesn't have any grip on those, but there is a corresponding left and right. He does come with one of those standard blasters, and again the blaster does come with the small blast effect, which is the kind of initial firing one, and then you have the large blast effect with the kind of the laser blast firing in a direction. So you can have it, if you want to do it in a display sort of thing, you can have it like hitting someone or blasting off someone kind of thing. So whichever way you want to do it. One thing that's cool about Lothar is he does have some storage for some of his weapons. So his little knife does fit into his breast pocket here on his waist, on his jacket thing, his overcoat. And his pistol actually has a pistol holster on the side of his leg, which fits it quite nicely. I do believe he is the only figure in the line that has a pistol holster. Everyone else who has these pistols just seems to carry them in hand. They don't have any sort of method for storage. You could potentially say that he has storage for all these weapons if you wanted to wrap the grappling hook around him as well. But sculpt wise, he does share a lot of reused parts with Wave 1 figures, most notably Flash and Phantom. So I'll get into that in a minute. I'll just go through his articulation first. So his head is on a ball joint, so you can look left, right, up, down, some side tilt. His arms are on ball joints, so he can move up that much. He has bicep swivel, he has double jointed elbows, he has wrist swivel, and his arms can go out that much. Don't think yet. He has an ab crunch under his waist, and he also has ab crunch, and he has waist swivel. He has hips that can kick forward only that much. He can really only do the splits that much because of his belt. The pockets on his belt actually do get in the way a bit. He does have a sculpted on leg piece. I believe it is actually a separate piece that's glued onto the figure. I'll get into that in a minute. And then you have the double knee joint with the knees, boot swivel. If I can get it to do work. He does have the boot swivel. And then he has those rocker ankles. He has the toe articulation, and he has 2 peg holes on the bottom of his boots. So as I said, he does share a lot of similar parts with both Phantom and, which I'll bring in here, Phantom and Flash. Most notably, it is the body buck. So where Flash had extra sculpted parts, so does Lothar here. So if you were to take off his jacket, which is removable, you'll see that this emblem, the Defenders emblem, is actually a piece that's sculpted but glued onto his chest. So he does use the same chest as these standard kind of figures. His legs do share parts. This pocket is glued in place. As I said, his left leg has been slightly modified to give him the straps going around it. I do believe they are a separate piece that are glued in place. And then there's a peg hole that was added to the leg so it could hold a holster. His waist is the same as the rest of these guys, except with the belt, which is a new belt piece. But you can even see, it's clearer to see it on like Phantom. You can see he even shares like the same sculpting work going down his leg. I believe the knees are not exactly new. I think knee pads are actually glued over the standard knee. So these are actually kind of an extra piece that was sculpted and then glued over. His most unique parts are his boots. His lower arms, he has this new sculpted lower arm, and this basically both his lower arms are the same new sculpts. So they have the wrist guard here, and he has the gauntlet on this side, and then he has elbow pads, which are again just like the knee pads, are a sculpted piece, but are, well, one elbow pad. I think the other one, yeah, he's only supposed to have one elbow pad. That's a sculpted piece that's glued on place, but it's utilizing the same arms. You can even see that the t-shirt that he's wearing is actually painted on, so the upper part of his bicep, from his shoulder to his bicep here, is all the same black plastic, I believe, and then the skin tone is painted onto that. So do be aware that over time that could rub off, but overall he is quite nicely sculpted. He's quite nicely put together. He does have a molded on backpack on his back. He has rope, it looks like rope going around there, or is it? I'm not quite sure what that is. There's a thing that goes from his back over to his shoulder. Not sure what it is, but he does have the sculpted rope on the left hand side. So as I said, if you wanted to, you could wrap this actual material rope, which comes with his grapple hook. You could wrap that around him, just give him an additional look, and then have him hold it, or just have it draped down, so it does look like he has his grapple hook on him. So you do have that. So we'll get him standing with his buddies. We'll get him standing with the good guys first, and I'll bring in the tape measure for measuring. So here he is with Phantom, Flash, and if I just get him from off screen here, with Mandrake, and then bring in the tape measure. He does seem to be taller than some of the others, or especially Mandrake. Mandrake seems to be the smallest of them. He does stand in around 6-7 inches. Don't think he's a little bit taller. From what I can see, he is, I know the camera is playing a little bit of tricks because I have Phantom and Flash kind of standing behind him, so he does look taller, but as far as I can tell, he should be the same size as both. So if I get him more in the middle of them, you can see he does line up a little bit more in scale. And if I move his box without knocking them carefully, I'm just going to move Flash over slightly, move everyone ever so slightly, put Mandrake in. I think Mandrake still comes in short. Just for he's about maybe an inch, like height wise, he's a little bit shorter than everyone else. So overall, he's not too bad looking. And we will get Ming and Garrix just for more skill. We'll get in Garrix, the robot, if he wants to stand. Come on, Garrix. His ankle, again, just like with Lothar, his left ankle seems to be a little more looser than the right, so it does tend to make him a bit more floppy. Bring in Ming. I just have to move his arm down so he's a bit more neutral. He is holding some of his weapons. Good. Ming the Merciless. And he does kill everyone by knocking them all over. Yep. Get him to stand in the back here. I'm going to try and get Lothar to stand up now. It'll be fun. So we got Flash, Lothar, Ming, and Garrix, and Phantom, and we have Mandrake, and then we have Batman for another scale comparison. We have one of the Neca Predators. This is one of the older books. It's the one that doesn't have the chest thing. It's Enforcer, I believe. I'll bring in Geralt, who's standing here next to me, from the Witcher video game. This is from Witcher 3. So you see the scale. He does scale quite nicely with some of these. And is there anything else I want to bring in? I think we're getting a bit crowded, but decided we'll bring one in. Bring in one of the Space Marines from McFarlane, and I'll throw him in at the back here. This is one of the ones I customized slightly, so he has the all blue helmet. You can see parts of the red of the original helmet poking through. So you can see him just standing in the background there. All in all, this whole wave of figures is pretty cool, and the whole line in general for the Defenders of the Earth line is pretty cool. As I said, there is on the original line, if you're a diehard fan of the original line, there was vehicles. I don't think Neca will do the vehicles. It'd be very rare, and they'd be incredibly large if they did. Even if some of the smaller stuff, like there was actually a Skullcopter for a Phantom, and there was a Clawcopter for someone who I think was just a generic vehicle. And then both Flash and Ming there were fighters, there were kind of starfighters, but the gimmick on them was they were called sword fighters. So the front of them would extend out into like a big sword blade. So you could use them as a sword, or you could use them as vehicles for the figures. So you had it was a kind of double thing. And then you had, I think it was a Mongol or Mongor, something like that, was the kind of weird serpent thing that the Ming figure would rock around on. So, oh, and just to complete the whole line, because he came at Flash, there's this weird little alien dude. I'll try and fit up on top of someone. No, Lothar is gonna give if I try and put him up. Weird little blue guy, which I can't remember the bloody name of. Yeah, man. You just stand on someone. Voila. You can stand up there. So all in all, it's a good set. I'm not sure if they're going to do because everyone in the show, Flash, Lothar, I think Phantom and Mandrake, and maybe just Phantom, they all had kids. Like their Flash had his son, I think Lothar had a son, I think Phantom had a daughter, and I can't remember off the top of my head. They all had offspring anyway, that were kind of the kind of semi-heroes of the show as well. I don't know if Neca might do those. They never had figures as far as I'm aware of. So unless they were like a cancelled Wave 2 line that never made it. But overall, really good line, and I do recommend picking it up. So good wrap up here. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed the look at all these figures. And please feel free, or please help support my channel by hitting that like button, hitting subscribe, and sharing the video. So cheers, guys.